All right, guys, we are back. This is episode 6, and I'm really excited for today's episode. We have a special guest. It is Chris Rhoades from Beer Tree Brew Co. He is the founder, one of the co-founders, manager, kind of runs the show. And I actually know Chris from college, so I'm really excited to have him on. And Chris, you can go ahead and say hello to the people.
Yeah, Peter, thanks for having me on. Pretty excited about this. Been listening to the show so far, and I love what you're doing, man. It's awesome.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. And kind of what we do, at the start of every episode, if you've been listening this far, I always ask Will what he's drinking. And we're fortunate enough today, I actually have some of your beer. So what are you drinking? I just saw you grab one.
Yep. So, all right, we're gonna do. You know what? It's a good one. It's called Art of Balance. It's a New England style IPA, 7.1% ABV. Oh
Ooh,
man, it's nice.
ooh, that's
Sounds
a good
good.
sound.
Mm. Oh my God, that's cold.
Oh my God, that's cold. I'm so pumped you said that because if you weren't going to say it, I was going to say it. But
Well, Peter, I feel like that's kind of where it began with us. You know.
it is. It is
That,
that
that,
Philly
that
trip,
one
man.
trip down to Philly. Luke Combs, man.
That was a good time. That was a lot of fun. A
That was
lot of fun. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it. Like I said, I know you from college. We went to the same college in Rochester, and we are also a part of the same extracurricular organization. So that's actually how I really know you. You graduated 2016, 2015,
yeah.
2016. Okay, and I actually came in as a freshman in 2016. So we really didn't meet until after the fact, until some of my friends that were still in school and some of the guys that you knew kind of introduced us, and that was really only probably a year ago or so. When did we go to Philly? It was
It
last
was
year this time, I think,
yeah,
actually.
last fall in November or something.
Yeah, and ever since then we've kind of kept in touch some. I'm a pretty big fan of the brewery and your beer, so I try and get some of that whenever I can. But yeah, I'm glad to have you on, and I kind of want to start by just you giving a little bit of a description of yourself, kind of your background. You can go ahead and touch upon what you studied in college and what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. So uh, at the school that we both went to, I studied mechanical engineering technology, got a master's in manufacturing and mechanical systems integration, which is kind of just, well, my focus was in automation. So kind of bringing the automated aspect into a lot of your standard kind of human procedures. Um, so I took that right after college, went to corporate America, worked for a year and 4 months, year and 6 months or so, and then kind of called it quits there and went full time for the brewery and kind of just full on went for it. Um, so that kind of leads us to the opening of Beer Tree Brew Co. It's our first facility that we opened up in 2017. It was actually October 26th, so we're coming up on 3 years here in 3 days. Um, that kind of blew up, man. We just put a big focus on obviously making the best beers that we could, self-distributing all across New York State, and we very quickly ran out of production space. So that leads us to kind of right now we're getting close to opening up a brand new production facility and tap room restaurant. It's at an old Sears building, but we're going up from about 1,000 square foot brewery to right around like 18,000 square feet.
That's
So
awesome.
a lot of space. We already brewed there. We've been brewing there. We're at batch 28 went into the tank today. So kind of just a freaking massive operation, or trying to get to be a massive operation at this point.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool. And one of the things you just said is, you graduated with your degree and you tried out the traditional kind of job market for your degree, and you lasted about a year and some change. And how long into that did you know that wasn't going to work for you? Like where? Well, you don't have to say the company, but I'm assuming you were doing fairly standard engineering work and you just wasn't your thing. Is that fair to
Yeah,
say?
well, so I guess like the whole story of kind of how Beer Tree came about. It started while I was doing my master's. I graduated a little bit late. I stayed the summer of 2016, just doing my capstone project. But some of the time spent doing my capstone project and kind of that last spring semester of 2016, my brother-in-law and I were kind of just like spitfiring ideas. We ended up we basically had for the most part, a completed business plan by the end of the summer of 2016, when I did graduate and moved back home where my brother-in-law and my family is.
Right.
That's where we ended up opening up the brewery, was in our hometown. So we it's like I went into corporate America knowing that there was a very good chance that I wouldn't stay there too long.
Right.
And we ended up basically the first month that I was working, we found a location, kind of pulled the trigger on it, and we made that decision at some point, we're not going to be working for companies anymore. We're going to work for ourselves. And
right.
Kind of like a conscious decision. Just fresh out of college, I didn't really have anything that I was risking.
Right. Yeah.
I could eat ramen noodles. I can make do,
Yeah, it wasn't too foreign of a thing for you at that point. You were used to kind of that grind. So how do you think, or what you remember of it anyway, how did people respond to this? Like your family or close friends? You just spent all this time and money at school, and then within a year or so of graduating, getting your degree, you're going to go for this brewery thing. What was the response to that?
Overwhelming support. Because
really? That's awesome.
It was, yeah. So I guess with the whole college thing, yes, in particular, the school we went to is pretty damn expensive. It's
yeah.
So it's you're paying for it, but you're learning way more than what's just in your profession, right? You're not. Yeah. That's the smallest thing that you learn. You learn how to actually build relationships and take risks and kind of work your ass off for some kind of attainable goal. Absolutely. So it's coming out of college, that's really the biggest learning point of college is it doesn't matter what you do as long as it's something that you love and you know that you can set goals and you can freaking work your ass off to attain them, surpass them. And I think a lot of my family, especially my family, they were like, hell yeah, go for it. That's sick. Do what you love. Find something you're passionate about and just kind of,
yeah.
If you want to achieve it, you just made it through college at a school that wasn't very, I would say it wasn't very easy.
No, I would agree with that. Yeah.
No, pretty crazy schedules, but yeah, it's just kind of being able to just go for it.
No, that's awesome.
And they supported that.
That really fits the theme of what we're talking about. And we brought that up in a few episodes prior as to having a group of people behind you that kind of support you and push you, how important that be and how impactful that can be. But even if you don't have that, just kind of the whole idea of, going through your college experience, obviously, learning the curriculum and what you have to learn, but also all the other things that you learn along with it, the social skills, the networking, and just really more about yourself is the best way I could describe it. One of those things for me too is I've, kind of been able to figure out what it is that I like as opposed to what will just make me the most money, and trying to follow that kind of path instead. And I think that's something that a lot more people should try to do. But
absolutely.
So you kind of just answered the next question I was going to ask you. What I was going to ask was, because of this, did you feel like college was kind of a waste looking back? But I feel like you just said that really wasn't the case. Maybe the fact the stuff that you learned for your major wasn't necessarily super relevant, but there was other learning that was going on.
Yeah. Well, so that's not entirely true either. I think a large portion of, honestly, most of the classes have come in handy. It's not like, I don't think a lot of people understand kind of what brewery life is. It's, you have equipment and you're abusing this equipment and shit breaks down all the freaking time. So we also designed the brewery ourselves. We did it all in Google SketchUp, and then basically built the whole thing. Not physically built it, but we helped out quite a bit. But all the tap lines, all the compressed air lines, CO2 lines, beer lines, the brew system itself. I mean, we got pretty high scale or large like controller with your relays that go bad or little fuses that are hidden in these kind of shitty spots that need to be replaced all the time. It's like little portions of each class kind of really have come in handy through the last 3 years. I mean, there's shit breaks, dude, Peter, it's all the fucking time. Like this morning, I rolled up this morning. It was actually last night. We burn out a belt on our mill, and it's like 4:45. Every auto shop in the area closes at 5. So to find a fucking belt, we had to get it on because we had to brew today. We actually brewed one of our more popular beers. It was pineapple creamsicle, and it was a triple version of that, which means a whole hell of a lot more grain. It's like gotta know how to change a belt on a motor. And you gotta know how to do it quick. You gotta know how to do it efficiently, effectively, and get the thing running.
Right. Yeah. So I guess a lot of the stuff you did learn is relevant then, to some extent. That's good that you're able to use it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Also, just like learning the problem solving skills. I think that's probably one of the bigger things. Is just, I mean, that's all you're throwing in college is just all these different problems and figuring out how to solve them. And you got to think on your feet, especially like with time sensitive, like brewing is time sensitive. Like if something happens when you're doing like the mash in process, if it's going on for too long, I mean, you're screwed. You kind of have a pretty strict schedule that you have to stick to when brewing beer.
Huh.
You gotta be able to work if it goes down.
So there's definitely a lot more behind the scenes that people never really consider or even think about, because like this is new to me. I've never even thought of this kind of stuff before, but it's a lot more elaborate of a process than I think most people would expect.
Yep. A lot of pumps, a lot of pipes, a lot of controls.
So what is you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what is the current state of Beer Tree? Obviously, you got the new location that you're trying to get going, up and running. But how are things going, kind of with the virus and all the crazy stuff that's gone on over the last year, I guess. How have things been going at the original spot and just kind of everything in general?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as like the coronavirus goes, like it's been tough, especially when it first happened. I mean, we weren't the only ones obviously going through it. So it's like, we're getting these daily new kind of regulations thrown at us. It's like, holy shit, like, how are we going to adapt to this? But at the same time, it's like, fuck this, dude, this is easy. Like we can adapt to anything. That's how we built our business, is just like the constant feedback loop. It's like, oh, okay, this doesn't work. Let's change it. So that helped out a lot. Our team that we have over at our pork green facilities, they're sweet, dude. They get shit done. So that was awesome. And then for construction over at the new spot, it's like we started our heavy construction in March. So, I mean, we were able to have like 10 different contracting crews all basically start at the same time and just nonstop, just like completely tear the building apart and give it a full facelift. And we're basically done with construction at this point. And I'm not going to say that was because of coronavirus, but I mean, I think having that time where the world kind of slows down a little bit and you can focus more on certain aspects, whether it's personal or professional. I think that was something that came into play and really helped us out, as we were able to like stop for a second, like, all right, we need to focus on these things right now for construction. Let's get them done, get them taken care of. And that kind of just followed through all of coronavirus. So weird things happened.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a nightmare for everybody. So, I mean, it's good that you were able to at least kind of find some positive in all the chaos that was going on. I know a lot of businesses, are really struggling and still are struggling. So it's good that you're able to have that, that productive time where everything was down, but also, find a way to keep things rolling. And I think one of the big things for you, at least that I've kind of recognized thus far with the brewery, is like the overwhelming community support. Is that an accurate thing to say?
That is, more than accurate. Oh, it's insane. I mean, that's kind of how we got to the point that we're at right now. Is the community's been behind us 110% since day one.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, showing up at our spot, following whatever rules that we had to put into place, like come March, and buying beer, buying food,
Yeah.
whole thing. Yeah, it's been insane. Like thinking back on it, our community's just like they are Beer Tree.
That's
Without
awesome.
them, we'd be jack shit, man.
Yeah. I remember, I think fairly early on, some of the younger guys were traveling through there on their way back to Rochester, and I sent them in to get some stuff for myself and for them. But while they were there, and they were kind of, because they hadn't met you before,
Yep.
and they didn't really know what to look for. But when they were there in the parking lot, kind of looking around for you, they said that there was a boatload of people there, kind of in line in their vehicles, waiting for you to come out and like deliver whatever they had ordered online. So even early on, as soon as it reopened for you, it really seemed like people were right back there, ready to spend their money, get some good beer, and kind of keep supporting you, which is fantastic to see. So
Yeah, yeah, it was incredible. Once we did the curbside, um, and the best part is like when we opened our curbside, it was like we've obviously never done that before, so we're trying to use this new system, flip from regular business to a completely online curbside kind of system,
right,
and do it in a period of, I think we gave ourselves 24 hours, maybe 48, if I remember correctly, and then I mean like the community, like the customers, be like, "Hey, I got the wrong beer, but like it's okay. This one's really good." They're just like, "Oh shit, okay, well, like sorry, we'll make sure that doesn't happen again." But it was like constant like feedback, like,
yeah,
"Hey, try this, do this. Like this didn't work." It's like we found out very early on that French fries in plastic containers get soggy in a very short amount of time
right, yeah,
through customers. So it's very like just over a lot of support, a lot of overwhelming support.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So for you specifically, what would you say like your title is? What would you refer to yourself, or how would other people refer to your position or your responsibilities?
Um, so right now things did change. So my brother-in-law and myself. So it's myself, my brother-in-law, and my father were the three partners. My father's more of just like the um, he works on kind of materials from our farm. He's doing the farm side of things.
Okay.
Um, and then but when we started, it was I was in more of the like taproom operations. My brother-in-law was doing more of the brewery operations. So in the last like 6 months or so, we kind of did a complete 180 where I'm doing all the brewery operation stuff, and he's working more on the front end stuff. Um, and as far as like the new place goes, so I'd say operations,
Okay.
internal and distribution operations. I
Yeah,
don't know,
that's
man.
fair. Close enough.
Or whatever someone tells me, like if they call me and there's a situation, it's like, all right, yeah,
You got to
do
take
it.
care of it.
Yeah. I do like to do like the PM stuff and like kind of the fix it guy.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's awesome. What
Anytime someone breaks, I'm normally there.
Okay. Yeah. What's so like on an average day though, what would you say you spend most of your time doing?
Since we started brewing, I've been on the floor, the
Okay.
production floor, trying to just get the processes down, get the system working the way it should be. We bought a canning line, so we've been all the beer that actually that the beer you're drinking right now that was canned at the factory location. If you look on the label, it'll say brewed and canned in Johnson City, New York, which is our factory spot.
Oh, it does say that. No kidding.
Yeah, so that was fresh out of the new canning line. Hell yeah, man.
Tastes pretty damn good.
Yeah. So that's just trying to get all that equipment worked out. Buying new equipment, man, it's like
Oh, yeah,
it's
I can only
exciting
imagine.
as all hell, but it's like you need to go through every single like even like the smallest details
Yeah.
because like our controllers were all wired backwards, all of our motors were backwards, our belts were backwards, sensors were hooked up wrong. It's just like all these little things that kind of it's like what the fuck? Who built this thing?
Yeah.
Goddamn children.
Yeah, a lot of research, I'm sure, and a lot of probably money invested into that too. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine that stuff is very cheap.
Ah, no, it's not. bunch of steel, stainless steel from not China. No way, we would never buy that.
America first, baby.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is your favorite thing about having your own business?
Um, Favorite thing. Uh, Honestly, dude, I love working so much. So it's like, I don't know, having like knowing that I'm working towards something that I've been creating for the last 3 years. That's pretty cool. Well, and like, okay, so the coolest thing's probably seeing like a Beer Tree shirt if I'm up in Rochester, like
Yeah.
in like Park Ave. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I see the logo, it's like, nah, dude, that's sick. Not gonna say anything, but hey, I see you, man. Like seeing it out there, seeing like the brand, we get a whole bunch of different feedback from our beers made it out to Oregon, California, Washington,
That's sick.
Florida, up in like Maine. Like these people like messaging us like, "Yo, your beer is so freaking good."
Yeah.
Like that, hearing that feedback, I think, because I'm a people pleaser, so like when I get that feedback, it's like, dude, I love you, man. Like, thank you, appreciate it.
That's
Um,
great.
so that's yeah, that's probably one of the coolest things is
Yeah.
like hearing the feedback.
Absolutely. So I kind of that kind of answers the next question too. But I was going to ask, what is like one thing about having your own business, which you just kind of answered. But I was going to follow that up with what is one thing, the number one thing, um, or your favorite thing, I guess I would say about Beer Tree specifically.
Specifically, the people I've met a lot of awesome people through Beer Tree, both just like customers, staff, um, our distribution accounts. I mean, the connections that I've been able to make through the company has been pretty incredible. It's like lifelong people and friendships and just connections that I think are that like invaluable at this point. Like people that have helped us out so much. Um, just kind of getting to know everyone in the industry, both from like breweries too. We've done a couple collabs with some just incredible people, incredible breweries, incredible stories. Just like learning all that. It's been pretty special.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember you were doing a few collabs at other breweries too, and I think I don't know. I don't think I got the chance to try them, but they ended up doing pretty well, right? From what I
Yeah, we just did
remember.
one with a brewery out in Glens Falls called Common Roots, and they came down to the new factory um, 4 weeks ago or so, something like that. That beer turned out so good. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, I mean, like those guys were like never really had a conversation with them before. Um, like just kind of chilling and
Yeah.
like talking about brewery stuff, life and whatnot. And yeah, it's like little things like that. Like those guys were awesome. That's
Oh, that's
all. That's what I love about the craft beer industry is everyone's kind of like that.
yeah.
Like not a bunch of stuck up assholes.
So, for you moving forward, what would you say your goals are personally as far as career wise?
Um, I think as far as like just beer tree, maybe not necessarily the beer tree brand, but from like our brewery standpoint, I think just to keep kind of growing.
Hmm.
Um, I think myself, my brother-in-law, my father as well. I think we've all found quite the uh, quite the passion for the industry. So there's no reason to want to get out of it. I think we're going to keep expanding, keep growing, opening up new spots, and and just keep growing. We
Yeah.
actually, so one of the biggest things was I wanted to be exported so freaking bad. I wanted to get our product overseas, and we have a pallet sitting in our cooler right now, wrapped up, going to the Netherlands. We've got the shipments all ready to go. It's going to be there the first week in December. It's like that moment. I got off the phone. I was like, dude, fuck yeah! Like this is real. Like this is we're going worldwide, baby.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like those that was like a big moment for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But
How did you manage? How did that all play out?
an email. I sent an
Really?
email to a company that exports that like I've heard a lot about,
Hmm.
and the guy responded. I was like, "Are you guys like looking for new companies to export?" And he responded back. He's like, "Honestly, no, not really, but I'm willing to have a conversation." And then we ended up kind of losing touch for a little bit, or well, I guess it was a couple weeks. Then we got on the phone and talked for like an hour, and it ended in basically, "Hey, I have a shipment that's I've got an open pallet spot. Load up a pallet, send me an invoice. I'll send you like the pickup date, and let's send it to the Netherlands."
That's
And
crazy.
we'll go from there. So yeah, man, that was so cool.
That's awesome, man. That's pretty good. You're going worldwide.
Worldwide,
Worldwide, baby.
worldwide. Oh yeah.
That's sick. So, I guess kind of piggybacking off of that, um, you said you want to expand, but if you were to think of, 20, 30 years from now, what would you say would be the end goal for Beer Tree?
Well, I think I mean we want to have many. I would say many locations. As far as my like, I would love to have many locations, and I think the reason that I'm so for that is because Beer Tree's become like more of a lifestyle brand
Yeah, absolutely. I
on
agree with
top
that
of just
100%.
the beer. Right. It's like, and I think we've hired a team that's like they are fully invested in the brand itself. It's less of just like, hey, we make beer. It's like, yo, we literally all fucking love life. We
Yeah,
are adventurers. We hike mountains. We ski. We snowboard. We'll go skydiving. We'll go up in a hot air balloon. We have those leave from Beer Tree all the time. It's like we love life, and we want you to love life with us. Like join Beer Tree, drink Beer Tree, live Beer Tree. It's
yeah.
like a half of our brand labels, like this one right here that I haven't cracked yet. It's called Edge of the Earth. It's the cliffs of Moher, cliffs of Moher. I don't know how to say it.
Fuck
Probably
if I
sounds
know. I have no idea.
like a dumbass. But it's like we're all about adventuring. We're all about like getting out there, seeing the world, and like not getting caught up in the little shit. It's like freaking like if someone's being an asshole, like fuck them. Find the people that you love to be around. Like
Right.
that's what our tap room is. It's like we have that community environment. It's like if you're in Beard Tree, like you better damn sure be, or you better fuck, I fucked that up. You better
That's all
like be
right.
like laughing, like having fun, and that's like what it's what we see. It's what happens there. It's just become like such a enjoyable like lifestyle, live life to the fullest type brand.
Yeah, that's
Vibrant Island, man.
that's sick, and I think that a lot of that is part of the reason why you're, doing as well as you are because it's gone beyond just the beer,
Yeah,
right? People see merch like I'll see every time I see a Beer Tree hat or like a Beer Tree shirt. It's like it's kind of like for me too. It's like, oh, I know him. I know him. They make good stuff, and like you kind of get the sense that the people that have that shirt or have that hat, they like really buy into you guys as a company, but the brand itself, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but I definitely I get the vibe that you're kind of describing whenever I have a conversation with somebody who's been there or had to get a shirt before they left. It's very apparent, and I think that really plays a part as to why you guys are doing so well.
yeah, I definitely think so. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go hike in the Adirondacks or go to Colorado and hike the Rockies or like wherever, and it's like I want to take a can of Into the Forest or High Summit or like any of these beers. It's and then they like we get these pictures. That's the coolest. One of the cooler things too is we get these pictures of people on top of mountains or in like just these exotic, crazy places wearing our t-shirts or our hats or just like with a beer. It's like fuck yeah, man! Like you go,
Yeah,
just live it up.
absolutely. That's great. I'm happy for you. It's really turned into quite the operation. But for you, what would you say is the favorite beer that you've brewed since you opened?
Um,
You got to
man,
have a favorite.
I've been all over Recently, it's that Roots and Trees and Friends and Things. That's our collab with Common Roots.
Hmm.
That beer was so good. Um, we did one called Velcro Walls. That was my favorite for a while.
I
Uh,
remember that one. That one had your face on the label, right?
yeah, my brother-in-law stuck to the Velcro wall, and then I was a fucking crow up
I was
above
gonna
him.
say you're like an eagle or a bird or something. It was your stupid face just right there in the can. It was really tiny, but if you look
Yep.
really close, you could see your stupid grin in the can, and it was hilarious.
Dude, it sure as shit wasn't an eagle. I was a fucking crow.
That's a lot more fitting, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
we so today, like I mentioned, I picked some up, and we went to AJ's Beer Warehouse in Henrietta. They got a big shipment of your stuff. They said like it was by far the biggest one they've gotten so far. There was a lot in there, and every time I go there and say, hey, you guys got any Beer Tree? They say, no, we just ran out a few days ago. Follow us on social. We post whenever new stuff comes in, and they're saying it lasts like a few days, typically, if that. So
Yeah.
they said that they finally like came to the conclusion that they wanted to get more in there because it was just flying off the shelves. Um, and I think you guys had probably 7 or 8 different beers in there in pretty good volume. So that's also kind of just a an indication as to how well things are going. Um, People in
Yeah.
Rochester know about you for sure. I'm sure it could be maybe a little bit of our influence. I'd like to think, but doesn't matter. You're doing well regardless. So I was really glad to see that, and I made sure to grab a few handfuls of stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I wish I could have sent you something.
Don't worry about it. You've given me enough free shit.
That's true. Yeah. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah, exactly.
No,
So
those guys at AJ's though, that like they were kind of our not our first account in Rochester, but they like grabbed us by or like we were a little baby and they like fostered us like, hey, we're gonna buy a bunch of your beer and sell it. It's like, dude, hell yeah. They've come
that's
down
awesome.
to Port Grant a couple times and picked stuff up. I mean, quality company over there.
So what do you say sets Beer Tree apart from competitors, from other breweries, from people in a similar industry? What do you think is that one quality that really puts you guys a level above everybody else?
Um, well, I think the biggest thing is just the beer itself. I think we've created a product that and we're still continuing it and always continuously improving it. But I think we've created a product that's pretty goddamn good,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
and it's crushable, it's drinkable, and a lot of it's that higher ABV stuff. So it
Yeah,
kind of hits you pretty good. So I think just the quality of the product, the way that we make it, the hops that we use in it, the just the overall ingredient build behind the beers. And I think the other thing is it goes back to that lifestyle thing. I think people see Beer Tree and they're like, dude, yeah, like I'm gonna grab that and go ride my bike, or I'm gonna go grab that and go hike.
yeah, for
And
sure.
I think well, okay, I should also say the can art. I think our can art's pretty freaking cool. Our graphic designer, we've had a few that have worked with us, and the one right now is she's sick. And I think also our marketing girl, like the our
Yeah,
social media,
whoever runs that Instagram page is very good. Very,
dude,
very, very good.
she's badass.
She's killing it.
It takes a lot of killer pictures.
Yeah, very talented. That and your Instagram page blew up too. It didn't take long for a lot of followers to be following your stuff and liking your stuff, sharing your stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, those fuckers won't verify us though.
Oh, did you
Like,
try to get verified?
I think our marketing girl tries to get or she's actually our marketing manager. She tries to get verified, I think, every week.
You'll get there eventually.
Yeah, at some point.
Huh?
Man, hard life out there.
What can you tell me about the factory? It's obviously a new location. It's an extension of what you got going. But what is that going to look like when it opens up? What's different than the original location? What's it all about?
So the original location's it's on a 16-acre plot of land.
Hmm.
It's a timber frame type of building. It's kind of like a farm, modernized barn kind of look. The factory it's in an old Sears building. It's at the Oakdale Mall. in Johnson City, New York,
The Oakdale
and
Mall.
the Oakdale Mall. Dude, we took the basically starting from the inside, we ripped out all the concrete, poured fresh concrete. We got trench drains in there. We've got urethane cement in the, or sorry, urethane concrete in the brewery. We got epoxy coatings in our kitchens. It's like we went freaking all out. And then that whole brewery part is glassed in, so we're on the inside still.
Mm-hmm.
Then we punched a hole in the floor to the, so this is the basement floor. We punched a hole up to the second floor, put a massive steel staircase in going upstairs, and that's where the restaurant's going to be, with
Okay.
a massive bar that kind of outlines a wood-fired pizza oven that's like front and center.
That's
And
sick.
then next to that staircase, as you're walking up it, that whole wall, it used to be like, it used to be a brick wall. And then we knocked the whole damn thing down and put glass up. So it's just this huge glass wall that's kind of tacked onto the north end of a mall. Dude, it looks sick. We stuck a grain silo out front. So all of our grains coming out of a silo. Well, not all of it, but most of the base stuff's coming out of that silo. And it's like it holds 48,000 pounds. So it's
Oh
not any
shit.
like small little guy. It's a big fucker. What else? A lot of parking space. We have a 3,000 square foot deck
Holy shit.
that isn't going to really come in handy for the next couple months here, but
Right. That's awesome.
yeah, dude, it's huge.
It sounds like a
Um,
big step up from the OG spot.
yeah, I mean the OG spot still
Oh, it's sick.
it's like it's got its it's got its like farm characteristics. It's like if you like COVID related, like if you want to go get away from people and sit at a table and like be kind of by yourself, like that's where you go.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we have the farm. It's like farm factory, like industrial looks, exposed HVAC, um, stainless steel all over the place, like your powder coated, matte black all over the place. Wood, we got a bunch of cedar to kind of start to tie in the Port Crane location. A lot of wood, just the general look of the building. It's like you see it and it's like, oh shit, that's sick.
That
I
might
want
be
to go.
the nicest place in that mall then.
What was that?
I said that might end up being the nicest place in that mall.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe. I don't know.
You might start drawing more people to the mall. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, the whole part of Sears is it's been picked up by it's separate of the mall. Sears building itself is massive, so we only have like
Yeah.
probably like a quarter of it, and then
Hmm.
there's the rest of it's pretty much office spaces, state of the art gym going in next door. So a lot of cool stuff. We're also putting in a little cafe there, so we're gonna do smoothies, coffees,
Hmm.
um, little healthy quinoa salads and whatnot,
Perfect.
all that good
That way,
stuff.
when you get drunk, you don't have to feel too bad about yourself to get something like decent to get the drunk munchies with. A little
Right.
nutritional snack or meal.
Yeah. Yeah, fresh kale leaves to sell and have people munch on.
So, is the overall vision for the factory then to be kind of more, well, you say like the original spot, right? It kind of gives you that farm vibe, the kind of like if you want to get away from people, just kind of chill out, go do your own thing and just have some drinks with friends. Oof,
Oh,
oof.
wow.
But this new place, would you say the vibe is a little more, kind of like more of a going out, going to interact, meet new people, kind of like that kind of thing as opposed to the original spot? Or what is like the ideal Friday or Saturday night going to look like there, you think?
Oof. Wow, that was cold. I think, yeah, oh, it's great. I think the ideal clientele is going to be kind of your middle-aged young professionals, kind of that kind of crowd. I think is going to find, I don't know, the environment that we're building there is like it's very conducive to our generation, but it also kind of brings in the older generations, and I think it's going to encompass the younger generations too. It's like there's a vibe that we're setting for kind of all ages.
Hmm.
So I think it's going to be like that post-work crowd, but we also have the Binghamton University right across the highway from us. So it's like we're gonna. I
Oh,
think.
that's where you guys are.
Yeah,
I
dude.
know where that is.
We're like right across. It's 201
Ooh,
Passover. We're like right there.
that's a good spot.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get a lot of students, and I think a lot of the older students. I mean, we've always dealt with fake IDs. We've had to turn people way out in Port Crane from BU, but I
Right.
think we're gonna probably grab them and bring them over to the factory. Like I think they're going to be more induced or more likely to go over to the factory rather than go all the way out to Port Crane because that's a little bit far out for them.
Right.
And yeah, I think pretty much any age group, fuck it,
Awesome.
come ready.
Well, as far as Beer Tree goes, that's kind of all I had for you. But there was a few things you kind of touched upon, especially early on. So I guess, not Beer Tree related. What would you say if you were giving advice to somebody as far as like following a passion of their own, and not following the traditional path, or taking a career that aligns perfectly with their major? What would your one piece of advice be to somebody that's kind of trying to debate, should I go for it, or should I just go with the safe route?
So I thought about this kind of a lot, specifically today. We had an interview yesterday, and my brother-in-law mentioned to me, it's like he kind of brought up like interview etiquette, right? And
Hmm.
like the way that I like to like say things to interviews, like, oh yeah, like I was so scared of failing. It's like, dude, fuck that. I wasn't. I was like, yes, there's a fear, but you're not scared of failing. It's like if you get that feeling like nervous excitement and like just motivated to literally no end, where you know that you will actually like failure is not even an option.
Right.
I think that's when it's like you should stop what you're doing and follow that passion. Um, that was yeah, it was in my head that because that's kind of how I felt. It's like I went from the corporate aspect is like I wasn't scared. I had a good job, I had good pay, like good benefits, and I was like fucking excited to drop that and just go for it. And there's like it's like I don't give a like I'm not failing. I
Right.
don't even want to like hear that word. Like I'm making this work one way or another, and I'm going to do everything in my goddamn power to make sure that happens. So I think the one like piece of advice would be if you get that feeling, don't wait. I mean, life is short as shit. Like you just you gotta full on go for it.
Yeah. That's that's
And I
great
think that
advice.
was I didn't really like because I don't know, man. It's all like a head game with interviews with like the news channel. It's like you don't want to say too much, you don't want to say the wrong thing because people do judge you. So that's the other thing. It's like
Right.
you do anything, be ready to have people just like throw shit in your face.
Yeah.
Even if like it honestly doesn't matter what you're doing. That's just the world we live in right now. So yeah, just be ready to dodge that and just do what you love.
Yeah, that's great advice. One of the other things too is I feel like for you, for a while, even before everything opened up, you kind of had some sort of vision or some sort of direction as to what you wanted to be doing. Now, say you didn't have that vision, say you didn't have, you know, like the family farm where you can source some of the products that fit perfectly with this idea. One, what do you think you'd be doing instead? And two, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that didn't necessarily have that much direction?
Um, well, I guess it just goes back to like what actually makes you happy. Like sitting here like for you, like talking to people, like you're a people person, you love podcasts. It's like
Absolutely.
that's you need to find what makes you happy. It doesn't matter if you have someone to lead you to that or if you just keep bouncing around until you find that. Like you gotta find what makes you happy. And then once you find that, just don't let go of it. Don't wait. Don't be like, oh, like the time's not right. The time, well, I guess, yeah. If you say the time's not right, when the fuck is the time going to be
Right.
right?
It's never going to be.
It's never going to be. You need to make the time to be right. You got to just kind of always evaluate your risks, but at the end of the day, if it's something that's going to make you happy, you just got to do it. If it takes you a while to find it, then so be it. But I mean, everyone has, no matter what you say, like everyone has a passion.
Yeah.
It could be like, I don't know, cleaning socks, like something like just right. Like it could be something like so fucking ridiculous, but everyone has a passion and you need to find that, or else you're just going to end up living your life just like, I don't know, a sad sack of shit. No one
Yeah.
wants to do that, but like it is so easy to get into like that 9 to 5, just wake up, do your routine, get kind of trapped in that.
Yeah.
You gotta disrupt that.
I think that's one of the things, like, that's one of my biggest fears, actually, I think, is, taking some corporate job that I don't really care about that much and, just kind of settling with it because, the pay's good or it feels, everybody else thinks it's right. But then to look back 30, 40, 50 years after I retire and be like, I just wasted most of my life. That's what scares me, and that's what kind of drives me to like follow a passion. But I feel like for whatever reason, some people just don't explore it when they know exactly what it is they want to be doing. For whatever reason, they suppress that, keep it to themselves, don't expand upon it, don't interact with other people that have similar interests. And I don't know why that is. I think a lot of it is the fear of judgment, unfortunately, is kind of what keeps people from pursuing something like that. But I think, you have to be willing to look outside of that and surround yourself with people that A, support you, and B, ideally have similar interests, similar career goals, and are passionate about something. I think that goes a long way. And I think for you and for your company, that's pretty much exactly how you would describe it and what is going on there. That's really, to me, when I look at Beer Tree, that's exactly what I see as a group of, passionate people that really care about each other and care about the success of the company and really just show up every day trying to make themselves and the company better in return. That's what I see.
Yeah, I mean that's spot on right there. I mean it's all about like it goes back to like the basics of surrounding yourself with people that you can relate to and that like bring you up and make you a better person. And yeah, I mean for us, yeah, like that's kind of how our team developed. It's we're all just gung ho about not just like beer. I mean, once you get in the beer industry, you kind of stop drinking. It's at least for me. I don't think that's for everyone, but it's like,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, right. Freaking 3 deep right now, man. This is a situation. But yeah, I don't know, like just getting those people that are always pushing you and always making you think about things and take things to the next step. And then you're doing the same to them. It's just like you bounce back and you can consistently grow together. Like that's huge. I don't know if I just got off on a little side tangent there with
No,
that, but
not at
yeah,
all.
like that's really important because if you're surrounded by someone who's not trying to accomplish anything, you might as well just like write your life off. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna go through the motions for the next 60 years, and yeah, it's gonna suck.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate truth that I think a lot of people are dealing with. But, if you've gotten anything from this interview, hopefully it's follow your fucking passion and drink some Beer Tree. It's good
Yeah,
shit.
I think that's a yeah, good little tagline there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, one other thing, as we're kind of wrapping up here, beer
Sure.
with roots, right? That's kind of one of your taglines, one of your sayings, I guess. Where did that come from? And I feel like if you stop and think about it for about 5 seconds, it's very fitting for the whole community aspect that you guys have been able to develop.
Yeah, so it's like there's a couple different. It's like a multi-dimensional kind of catchphrase. It's the name Beer Tree came from our hop farm. It's like it was actually from my dad. One of the neighbors drove by as he was out in the hop field, and they're like, "Hey, like, what are you growing?" and he yelled up, he said, "We're growing beer trees." And he told us that story. And then he was like, "Yeah, I called them beer trees." And like that kind of just like, dude, that's the name. We didn't have to like go through like oh, how's this name? How's this? How's this? Like, no, it was like fucking beer tree.
Yeah.
And
Knowing you, that's like very fitting. I can see where it comes from in the family then with something like that. Yeah, we're growing fucking beer trees. That's like
yeah,
spot on for you.
yep, yep. So thank you. Appreciate that. So that's the one aspect, like literal fucking roots from
Yeah.
the farm, from the hops. Like that's the one aspect. The other aspect is we're the family business. It's like myself, my brother-in-law, my dad, and that's like just, I mean, it's the whole family.
Yeah.
Everyone's involved in one way or another. And the next aspect is just like the community. Like it's not like we moved to a different state, moved to a different county, moved to a different like town or whatever. It's I'm living a half a mile away from where I grew up. The brewery's a mile away. It's like this is our community. These are where our family roots are. I got three of my aunts within a mile of me right now. It's like this is our community. This is our roots. Like these are our roots. We know a bunch of people. I mean, it's not like I grew up in a large city. It's like
Right.
everyone knows everyone, and that's like kind of that third dimension is we're all kind of intertwined and we're all kind of tied together with the roots.
Yeah. That's perfect. It's a great slogan and I think it's very fitting. But yeah, I think that's a good ending point. Is there anything else you want to say about the business, where things are going, what you've got going on, where people can reach out and learn more about Beer Tree, anything like that at all?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Instagram's at Beer Tree Brew. Facebook's Beer Tree Brew Co. Factory by Beer Tree is the new place. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been a while since I've been able to get this first interview up and going, but I couldn't think of really any better person to have on. So I appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to seeing where things go for you and the rest of the brewery and everybody involved. So thanks again, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Peter, man. It's always good seeing you, buddy.
Take care, bro. Peace.
See ya.